This documentary is about a man who sacrifices his dreams for a benefit of a scene that has left him forgotten.
This life was never mine. Where do I sign for a better life? Mistakes and doubts, failure wakes. I am your favorite bucket.
Des Nations Unies devant ses responsabilités. La diplomatie américaine brandit un flacon d'anthrax pour dénoncer.
Get me away from you. Take it away. I can't sleep when I dream of you. I can't dream 'cause I dream. Deeper it soaks, more I lose control. Shaky, really cold. Take it away, take me away.
Major
Get me
combat
away
operations
from
the
you.
Battle of Iraq, the United
Take
States
it
and our allies
away.
have
Take
prevailed.
me away. Get me away from you. Take me away. Get me away from you. Everyone is everything to you.
Describe No Only Forgotten in 3 words.
Oh God. That was 2.
I'm speechless. Psychotic, energetic, dramatic.
Fuck shit up.
Frightening, shocking, and visceral.
In your face.
Raw, real, and in your face.
Unpredictable.
16 minus 32 is what? 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 22, 23, 24, 26, 27, 28, 30.
16.
I was 16. So you expect me to remember shit when I was 16? Really?
Excitement, fun, blood.
They were one of my favorite bands to book. So much energy. Adam running around barefoot. And they were in your face. They were in the crowd. That's the band that you wanted to see.
It's really quite simple. We would start playing and everyone would leave. And if they liked us, they would stay. If they wanted to get spat on with blood.
The music was one part, but their stage presence and Adam punching himself and bleeding all over his shirt. It was...
Now you seen this guy beating the fuck out of himself, like, oh shit, it's badass. Oh.
We did it sober. We did everything sober. It was genuine hate. You know what I mean? It was all pure. It was just straight from the gut. So, heart. It was just pinned up, and there was so much in there that we just needed to come out, and it just let it all out, man.
The writing process for No Only Forgotten was actually very simple. There was no process. There was absolutely no process.
Bands will always tell you that their shit sucks. Like when they record, they're like, ah. But when you see them live, like, you can see the passion in there.
So it was definitely an experience. And now, older as an adult, I look back and I think like, wow, like, dude, that was performance art at its best, I think, to be completely honest.
Recording in our live show for No Only Forgotten, I think I think recording was just kind of difficult because those sets were so spontaneous and the music wasn't as structured, and you know what I mean? There really wasn't anything like that. So how the fuck do you record that?
You guys just doing it all in a row? Let's go next.
Naimo?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? How are you gonna record that? People can't hear Adam beating the shit out of himself. They have to witness it. You know what I mean? Danny with the guitar, you know what I mean? Basically, the only thing you could probably, even Leo with the head spinning and shit that he used to do with his hair.
It reminded me of War a little bit, but at the same time, like the music, the stage presence together was just like amazing. So,
Can you describe how much more fights and violence existed in shows back in 2005 in the Rio Grande Valley versus shows in the current era of 2020? Why do you think that type of behavior would no longer be tolerated in today's society?
There was way more fights back in 2005 era VFW. Fucking, dude, it was standard. Fights were standard at shows back then.
Yeah, the violence and all that kind of stuff in general within the scene, not Adam on himself or anything like that during the performances or things like that. The violence was acceptable to an extent because at one point we had people that were hostile or, you know, trying to beat up on smaller kids or whatever, or, you know, kids that were doing the hardcore dancing that was very new to the valley at that point. And people would sometimes just go up to random people and kick them. You remember when they kicked Jersey, fucking ended up tearing a ligament and he ended up with that injury his whole life. So there was a legitimate reason for some of the violence.
We had our crews back then and shit like that, and you know, like if you fucked with one person, then you fucked with all of us. And you know, that just goes to show the way we grew up, the way I grew up, you know, fucking getting picked on in school and shit, and getting called freaks and shit just because we rode a skateboard or dressed differently, you know, fucking get jumped in the street or down. Of course you want, you know, motherfuckers, you know, we gotta stand up for ourselves and shit like that. So that was my mentality, you know, like nobody wants to get fucked with. So yeah, there was a lot of fucking fights here and there.
There was a reason to punch people sometimes or to do what we needed to do, and things got handled, things got squashed, and there was no video of it. So basically you fled the scene. The security guards there, especially at the Nicky Rio VFW, were cool with us, so they just would say they didn't see us.
Yeah, shows were definitely way more violent back then, and people were way more destructive.
It was necessary, and then there was a point where it got too much, and I think all of us got out of hand. We all just kind of wanted to get into some action, you know. Everybody wanted to get a piece of it, and at that point, well, it was kind of wrong at that point. That could not, in 2005, all that could happen. In 2020, no, it can't. The phones, the venues, everything just is completely different. We'd all be arrested. And honestly, I think the scene, like the music scene itself, is a little bit more mature in that aspect, and not really anybody gets into fights anymore at shows.
You know, we didn't know, you know. But there's some regrets. Some we learned from some of those experiences also. So I guess I don't take it all back,
but it was necessary at one point. Yes, it was.
Nah, there was always stupid fights all the time. So I don't really remember fights. I was never a fighter. I was more just me, Ruby, Gloria, and Mitzi would all just get together and just like, girls, or whatever. But as far as like fights, I was never down for fights. So I didn't really get involved with that politic.
So we are at the Student Union here at University of Texas Rio Grande Valley, which was No Only Forgotten's first, I don't want to say show, I guess first time us playing together as a band. It was the summer 2004. It was the University of Texas Pan American at that time. So they stayed here for the summer, I think it was the summer one.
I was working as a RA, resident assistant at UTPA.
During that time, we were so desperate, enthusiastic to play a show. We had one song down. We just wanted to get our feet wet with something. And I think during that time, for everyone, is like, oh, let's play a fucking talent show. Adam and Andre had a coworker, some girl. She was like, wanted to be included. We were just being nice, so we just added her on. Watching it now, it doesn't make sense, and it's kind of cringe. But you know, at that time, you don't know. You're just excited to play. So we're like, fuck it, let's just wing it and, you know, put her on. I guess I don't know, just to be nice. If we felt like it was a fun thing we did. People fucked with it. People liked it. You know, and I felt like it wasn't a true representation of us as a band. So what we ended up doing was like, yo, let's just load the gear, or like grab the gear and load it in the dorm room.
We plug everything in, and I tell all the kids, like, hey, come to my room, right? So there was like, I don't know, like, I want to say at least over 30 people, like, in that little room. And dude, it stunk. It smelled so nasty in there. It was like, everything was all like wet, because like humidity, I don't even know what. And the resident advisor director opens the door as I'm in there like screaming, and like, dude, you should have seen his face. Like, he opened the door, his face was just like, he showed like, he was just like with his mouth open, like dude, I thought he was gonna go crazy on us. He just closed the door and walked away. Like, dude, I was all like, oh no, like, I don't even know what's gonna happen. Like, I figured like this dude's gonna go wild on us. Like, you know, he's gonna go, like, for him not to have a single reaction made me worry that the reaction was gonna come later, right? So like, we wrapped up the song and then like we left, and I think the next day, or maybe even that day, like I don't think it was that day. I think the next day he kind of like laughed about it. He's like, I've never in my life have ever seen something like that. I didn't even know how to react. And that was it. Like, I still had my job. I still got paid. Luckily, yeah, I know, right? Luckily, I still got paid. I was like, man, I don't even need a paycheck, bro. Like, for me to even be able to pull off something like that and him not trip out, and for me to still have a job, like...
Can you describe when and where you were when you saw Knowingly Forgotten for the first time?
I was in this house. I was hearing this racket from upstairs in my room, and it sounded kind of like that noise you're hearing right now. It's like, what the fuck is that? Are they serious? And so I go outside and I look out through the window, and I see, oh, that's not the singer of that other band. I guess it's his brother. And what are they doing? That's my brother on drums, and Danny's on guitar. Maybe they're just messing around. That's what I thought, because it just sounded like they were just making noise, and I thought I didn't think they were gonna like play any shows or anything like that. I thought they were just screwing around.
I really just wanted to play. I wanted to be known. I wanted to be, looked at. I wanted people to see how good of a drummer I really was. And it's true, people did come up to me afterwards and say, God, you're incredibly fast. Your hair's super long, and swinging it around, and your intensity was consistent throughout the entire set. It wasn't just like the first song and a half and then you slowed down and you chilled out. No, it was the same throughout the entire set. And I like doing it. Like I said, I wanted to be noticed.
This dude, every time he hits the drums, he just bangs the shit out of them. He goes hard on it. And it's like balls to the wall. He's going hard no matter how long the set is.
I think it wasn't so much me playing for a band, it was just so much that I just get to play. And then when I found out how cool of a band Knowingly Forgotten really was, I was more interested. This is not something you see.
We just wanted to have fun. A lot of the first phases of the band were so much different from what it ended up becoming. We just started going with the whole route of, just playing noise, grind, power violence shit just because we thought it was fun, and we're staying true to ourselves because, you know, that's what we had fun playing, like that type of style. With our other songs, you know, they're cool and all, but it's later on, as far as like as the band progresses, how we really like developed our sound.
With us is more like maybe a frustration, letting out frustration, and just like we had less, I don't know, just be able to be more expressive without just to be like, well, I don't know about that, man. You know, it's like, bro, just put it, who cares? I don't know, I just remember just being so full of energy and just being so excited to do something, you know. I just felt a lot of times it was like the moment was finally here.
Yeah, we're knowingly forgotten from Pharr, Texas. Yeah. If you see us in a flyer, please fucking go, cause we have no fucking fans. Everyone fucking hates us.
Adam, can you tell us why the band Knowingly Forgotten was banned from the McAllen VFW as a band, but not as people?
It probably had something to do with the commander. That guy was, as cool as he was kind of strict.
Probably got blood all over fucking war medal or some shit like that.
So the Only Forgotten is the only band that got banned from the VFW. We had a song called Fuck America, and this is a veterans foreign war, so that didn't go over too lightly. The commander, who was in charge of the VFW, was not too pleased about that, and especially because Adam was bleeding and he started spitting on the American flag. It's pretty crazy stuff. The commander was generous enough to lift the band and allow us to play again.
I don't know, maybe he believed in freedom of speech, even if he didn't agree with it.
Every time I fucking turn on the fucking TV, one of our fucking troops is dying in that fucking piece of shit fucking war. Let that motherfucker fight his own fucking war. We have fucking innocent lives dying over there. Fuck him. Fuck this country. Fuck me. Fuck you. Fuck all of us. Fuck America!
I don't think that would happen now.
Do you think people thought of freedom of speech as something more valuable back then as opposed to today's culture?
No, I just think that people just more be like, okay, well, it's their life, it's their belief. It's as long as it doesn't interfere with my unalienable rights or my belief in, like, my doesn't violate my happiness. Go believe what you want. So many people out there that are afraid to be who they are, even though it might like upset some people. It's okay to be different. You know, we all don't have to agree on everything, and it's okay not to agree on things. You know, it's just we're human. You know. But if you believe in something and I don't agree with it, that's your choice. And I'm not gonna, you know, I think it's okay not to agree with somebody else, you know. That's the whole point of having your own choices and like ideas.
Can you describe to us how the song "Turtle on a Flower" came about? What it is about? How y'all wrote that song?
I don't even know. Like, I just figure, like, what are things that people like? And then the first two things that popped into my head were like turtles. Like, who does not like turtles, right? And what's another thing? Flowers. So put two to two together, turtle on a flower, and that was pretty much it.
One of my favorite songs is, I guess, "Turtle and a Flower," or I guess that's not even the name of the song, that's just a lyric, but it is just Adam saying "turtle and a flower" over and over again, and just like kind of got me hooked. Like, okay, I finally know what he's saying, but at the same time, you know, Danny's riffs and Leo's drumming just pulls everything together really nicely.
Yeah, it was awesome. "Turtle on a Flower" was a hit. It was a hit single. The lyrics were just "turtle on a flower." I mean, that's it. It's brilliant. That's all you need, man. Straight to the point. Turtle on a flower.
Hey, man. No one forgot him for Pharr, Texas.
How different is your life in comparison to then to now, current day, 2020, 2021?
Well, first of all, I found this kid roaming the streets. No, I started playing with them when I was 17. I'm about to be 34. This is my 2-year-old. I was working at Toys R Us at the time when I started. Now I'm a security officer at a military base. I don't live in the valley anymore. I used to live in Austin. Now I live just south of Austin, and I would like to fish. I like to barbecue. I like to spend time with this little guy here.
Why do you think Knowingly Forgotten stopped playing shows?
Why do I think Knowingly Forgotten stopped playing shows? Shit, fucking Adam probably got tired of fucking beating on his head, or he fucking got a concussion or some shit, and fucking... Nah, for real, I don't know, they probably moved on. Danny had his another band with DTD and shit like that, and Adam had his other band too. Started making other bands and started booking shows more, and you know, started getting into that. And Leo as well, you know, getting into other bands. So I think that's probably why they broke up.
So after a while of like booking No Only Forgotten, you know, and forming that trust and that bond with Adam, he came up to me, I remember, and he asked if I could like help him throw his first show.
So it was kind of like No Only Forgotten was kind of fizzling out because I started, you know, main priority was bringing bands down and exposing our beautiful region and our culture towards all these other people from all over the U.S. coming towards the Rio Grande Valley.
I always felt No Only Forgotten, for Adam and Danny. I feel like they're the godfathers of Valley, Texas hardcore, and even though they didn't play shows outside of the Valley.
Valid question, but as I'm remembering all these things, you start looking at it, how can I say, like, I would have never met Adam had he not been doing those weird, crazy things on that stage, right? That friendship would have never been formed. The bands that would crash at my house, things like that would have never happened. So why No Only Forgotten? Well, because No Only Forgotten was a very, very important thing, even though it was out of this world, it was weird, it was strange, or like nobody liked it, or some people liked it, some people didn't. You know, but it was an instrumental piece because he was moving and making things happen and getting things done and reaching out to people and making these connections.
And Adam was always there, and Adam was always booking shows here and there, and those guys just helped the scene grow and grow and grow.
So why No Only Forgotten? Because those people were very pivotal people that helped out in the scene and did things. If it wasn't for the homeboys, I don't know if I would have even gone as far with music or pursued it. I don't know if I'd be friends with you. I don't know if I'd have a lot of my friends. So good. I'm glad No Only Forgotten happened.
And I went to the Valley recently, about a couple years ago, and rest in peace the VFW, but they still have their own venues, and to see, you know, these new kids coming up and doing their music and seeing them go off at shows, and now I'm the old guy in the back drinking Topo Chico, and it's still awesome that they're still doing it. And I feel like Danny and Adam started that with their foundation with No Only Forgotten. And, you know, like I said, they didn't play shows outside of the Valley, but for them to take a step back and say, hey, let's stay in the scene, but let's keep the music going and keep booking shows and keep having fun with this. I think that's fucking awesome.
And just being able to see other bands or other people not from the Rio Grande Valley, not from Texas, being able to fall in love with you know, our region and being able to just hang out with us, you know, it just made me like, it made me feel, you know, being proud, you know, being able to be able to bridge, make friends and build bridges between bands and people.
They should have kept playing a little bit longer, I'd say. I remember missing them.
No Only Forgotten was ahead of their time, bro. Doing all this shit.
man crush.